Three Geminis walk into a room.
Oh boy.
And this is what you have.
I honestly feel that this could actually be a disaster. Oh my goodness.
It's either going to be a disaster or it's going to be fireworks.
That's true.
Like,
Beautiful chaos.
Beautiful, like, when Katy Perry was still
In Teenage Dream.
Yes,
Before
yes.
Women's World.
before pre-143 Katy
Pre-space travel.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Leave Katy alone. I'm gonna be that person.
I know.
I agree. We love our pop girlies.
Katy Perry, her fans are Katy Cats, and our special guest.
Is none other than Kitti!
Hi, everybody. Hello.
Otherwise known as Kittipetch Pingkarawat.
That's right.
I'm sorry,
That's
what?
It's Kittipetch Pingkarawat or Kittipetch Pingkarawat. Yeah.
Kittipetch Pingkarawat.
Yes. Or also in Singapore known as Kitti Rose from the House of Rose. Yes.
Aww.
Yes. So
So-
she's actually Thai, so that's why her name is so long and
Can you do an ASMR of your name?
Kittipetch Pingkarawat.
Kittipetch Pingkarawat.
Welcome to the SG Boys podcast.
I'm so honored. Thank you, everybody.
I really think you can make some money with that ASMR
Really?
Thai.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
It's just like a drag queen doing ASMR.
I know.
Just talking dirty in Thai. in
Exactly.
English.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Ooh.
That's such a great idea.
Actually, yeah.
Okay, we will produce it and we get 5%.
Especially in Singapore, so many Singaporeans go to Thailand.
That's
Like,
true.
And I feel like, you could teach them a few.
True.
I want to Bangkok phrases, if you know what I mean.
What do you mean?
You know what I mean.
Where's the nearest BTS station from DJ station? This is Saladang.
Kitty actually is pretty new to drag, I would say.
Yeah.
Like how many months or years?
I am a baby drag queen. So I am a very baby drag queen, actually. I've been doing drag now for 1 year since my birthday, right? But if we count work, then that would probably be less than 10 months.
Right, work being the drag open mic.
Yeah.
Started by Vanda Miss Joachim
Yes.
and team.
Oh my gosh, when I first started, Sam Joe witnessed a lot of ugliness, a lot of craziness. And sometimes people were like, is that offensive or is it not?
It was actually very beautiful watching you, and I'm not saying this just because I'm your friend and everything, and because we're on the SG Boys, but you really have come such a long way in your whole journey, not just your drag journey, but in life, which is I guess what we want to talk about today as well, because your story in particular is so inspiring. You have overcome a lot, and the crazy thing is that you're so cheerful on the outside, and that was my first impression of you also, by the way. So we met, I think, was it the baby boy dance?
It was a baby boy party. It was.
Just a bit of context. I'm meeting you for the first time.
Yeah.
Sam Joe behind the scenes was gushing about you.
Oh,
Gushing. Like, he doesn't have his notes here today, but he actually prepped like a full Excel sheet with
my
questions.
goodness.
Because he put on his journalist hat and he wanted to not only be a friend to you, but really do your story justice.
Thank you.
I think you have a lot. You have enough to write a memoir.
Oh my gosh. Let's go.
Where do you want to start? Okay.
Shoot away. I'm already ready. I've
Kitty
been
was
waiting
born
for
in
yeah.
Mount Alverna Hospital.
Let's go back to
Yes.
my first impression of you, right? So I was a baby boy, and baby boy, such a fun hip hop R&B party. Shout out to our baby boy friends again. And 2 years ago, was it 2 years ago?
It was 2 years ago.
Kitty starts appearing at the parties, and it's this guy. And the first thing I noticed, Kitty obviously didn't look like that. Kitty was in boy form, and he was just dancing a lot. You think I have energy on the dance floor? Wait till you see Kitty dance. The one thing that caught my attention was Kitty's eyes. Kitty has these Betty Davis eyes.
I've been told that they can either be like, oh my God, very striking or very scary.
It's scary. I wouldn't want to double cross you.
We're like,
and so you were a complete stranger at the time. And then I started seeing you more and more and more. And then I think I got to know you beyond the surface, beyond those Betty Davis, eyes. And I got to see your heart. And I think that's why we've remained friends ever since. Because I've seen this side of you that I hope everyone else, including Josh and all of our listeners, can get even just a glimpse of today. Because you have such a beautiful story and you're such a good person, and I really want that to come out. Okay, so
Well,
who is Kitti? I guess that's what Josh wants to know. Who is Kitti Rose?
Okay, well, I think in general, first of all, a lot of people meet me for the first time and they don't know that I'm Thai, actually, right? I am Thai, but I was born in the U.S. Explains the Ang Mo accent, where a lot of people say, like, why is this girl talking like an Ang Mo? And I was born in the U.S.
Right.
I grew up with Sex in the City.
Yeah,
Friends.
I was born in the U.S., everybody, and that's why I talk like this. But first of all, I am 41, right? Yeah. 41, and I am actually married to a woman, right? Still married to a woman. I came out officially at the age of 35. And there was a lot of things that happened, including being diagnosed with being bipolar. Does he not know any of this? He's acting so surprised.
I think I briefed him briefly, but this is also his first time like hearing it from the horse's mouth.
Oh, okay.
Wait. Because Sam just said bipolar, and I thought it was the bar in Silom.
Girl.
There's a bar in Silom called Bipolar.
Look, she loves a drink too. She loves a good drink or two.
I thought that's where you work in
No,
Thailand.
I'm bipolar, like legit bipolar.
And I'm just gonna go straight to the question of like, wait, so you're straight?
No. Well, I came out at 35, right? So nowadays, I just give people a snapshot of like real quick. So yes, was married to a woman and has a biological daughter that is now 9 years old, bipolar, and recently had a brain tumor and became a drag queen. Yeah.
And a DJ.
Oh, yeah, and a DJ too. Yeah.
In that order.
Yeah, something along that line. Yeah.
Yeah.
One of my goals is actually this year's, and thank you for making it happen, is to actually start telling my story, because I do feel that we learn from people's stories and learn from people's experiences, and we don't know how that helps other people out, but it actually does.
It does.
Yes.
You never know who's listening.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it could just be that one person. We've been doing this for a few years now.
5 years?
4? See, we've lost
We started
count.
during the pandemic.
Yeah.
So about 5 years, about 4 to 5 years. I'm a voice person, and it's not like a kink or anything. Or maybe it is, but like you have a really nice voice.
Thank you.
Like when you were really like sharing the way like you're like, because we've been chatting for a while now.
Yes.
But like in that moment just now, you were like sharing from soul out, not even body, just like soul out, and you can like hear like the weight of your story, and it's incredible. And
Thank you.
Like the thought that came to my mind is like, so I'm Christian, right? And then they always say like, when it comes to experiences and stuff, God gives you what you can handle. Like, I don't know how I can handle the things that you've listed, and the fact that you have and are still going through a lot of these things and still show and put makeup on and still look stunning and laugh. It's wild, but it's also like testament to your resilience.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I would say, look, thank you for saying that. I think like, and like I tend to downplay a lot of what has happened to me. And I know it's actually a lot. And sometimes I do. It's like, actually, Kitti, you need to give yourself a break too, because there's a lot of things that went on with your life that shouldn't happen. But then again, I see people, I hear stories, people get beat up, getting murdered or whatsoever. Wow, this became very serious. or like, the things around the world that are real issues, right? And let's not even just talk about the real issues around the world. Let's just talk about like LGBT issues, right? People getting thrown out of houses, even in Singapore.
Yeah.
I have like people who come and get ready at my place all the time because why?
Yeah.
They don't have a place to get ready. They have to get ready in their, what is it called? The fire exit of their HDB.
Yeah, like in the stairway. Yeah.
I think the first question people is like, what do I identify as?
Yeah.
Right? And sometimes people see me in drag and they're like, oh my gosh, are you transitioning? And I'm like, first of all, no, I'm not. And I don't want to take any offense to transgenders or anything like that. But no, I don't identify myself as a girl, as a woman, as a female, or anything like that. I am a male, right? I am a he, him. And I want to stay male. right? But I do have a side of me that is a little bit more feminine, and that's the way I express myself. Now, usually when my sexual orientation or how I identify comes up as is usually because I'm married. Surprise, surprise. I've never had a relationship with a guy. All my relationships have been with women, actually, right? Sexually, yes, I am very attracted to men, but I don't know why. It's just never worked out for me. And so I did naturally fall in love with my wife. And we've now been married since 2013? And we've decided to stick it through together still. Now, what is the status of our relationship? It's an open relationship because we now know that this is what it is, but we live our life completely. We're free to date whoever we want, but we have agreed to stick on as a family unit. I've always wanted to have a family, have my own children and whatsoever, and that's where my daughter came from, naturally.
Right.
Yeah, naturally. People are like, when I say this, people are like so confused of how in the world, you know what I mean? And so that's why I have to say bisexual. I will also tell this, I'm probably now more gay, right? Because I don't want to put anybody through what went on in my life ever again. I've experienced a lot of pain and caused a lot of pain towards a lot of people. And that's why, you know what, going on forward, if I'm going to date anyone, I'm just going to date a man or a guy. But yes, I am married to a woman currently.
Right. How old were you when you got married?
I was married at 29, 30.
29, 30, and you said you came out at 35.
Yeah.
So how was that like? Because I'm guessing you had to come out to not just your wife, but also eventually your daughter, in a sense.
Yeah, that we'll get into that a little bit, all right? But
so, yeah, how's that? I mean, your family and friends and everything.
So, you know, as flamboyant as I am, I don't think it came to a surprise to anyone. Right? Even my wife. My wife actually knew that I was bisexual, and so was she. But like, you know, we naturally fell in love with each other, and we loved each other very, very much. And we enjoyed each other's companionship and everything. But when I came out, there was a lot of reasons. And like, just like every single marriage, we just gave birth to my daughter. We had a lot of bumps in our relationship. I started realizing that I was more attracted to men, right? And y'all, I am not that innocent. I'm just like, for those who are going to be like reading me off and find like stories of me, like I am not that innocent. Like, if anyone that like, yeah, I wronged my wife, right, in a relationship, but maybe it was because of my sexual orientation or whatsoever. I'm not justifying it. What's wrong is wrong. I started to catch feelings for another guy, basically. And then I realized that, oh my goodness, what if everything is starting to fall apart, right? And at that time, unfortunately, too, I started to have symptoms of being bipolar, right? And my bipolar started to go off with a lot of mania or a manic state where I was very unstable, and then a lot of depression came along with it too, right? And so one big triggering point was I was diagnosed with bipolar first, and then they started to realize, my psychologist and psychiatrist started to realize that there was a lot of more underlying issues that was there, and then I basically decided to come out during the same time because I had a wife, a daughter, and everything. I felt horrible for coming out because I felt like here I just wasted. And please note, me and my wife have been dating 7 years ahead before we even got married, just to make sure.
Right.
So basically, she at that time was already like 35. And so we were already together for like at least over 10 years. And so what in my mind was, oh my goodness, I ruined someone's life, right? And that was a lot to take in, especially for someone you care so much for. And then my bipolar and depression start kicking a lot in, even with medication and adjustment. I started to have suicidal thoughts, actually. all of a sudden I started hearing voices in my head while I was driving or when I was around or just seeing my daughter. I would start crying and out of sadness and whatsoever. And the voices in my head was just like, you should just die. Or like, you should end it. Just die because you are horrible. You destroy people's lives. You ruin things, right? How can you be such a monster? I snapped out and I told my dad who was there. And the moment I saw that was my daughter, who was at that time, I think about 3, running around in the playground after a dinner that I was taking them out. And then I said, Dad, I think I need to check myself into rehab because I'm hearing a lot of things in my mind. And they already knew that I was it was just like a month in of being bipolar. And they already knew, and they were like, okay, let's go. And legit, girl, I thought I was going to be there for like a week or 2 because I was checking myself in. I was like, let's go. So it's like a spa. Girl, I got locked up for a whole month. A month. Yeah, and it was quite a serious thing.
When you say locked up, can you leave at your own will?
No. So I signed papers to put me in there. And I was in there for a whole month. They did allow me to go out from time to time with my parents on a curfew for a couple of hours later on while I was there. But I was pretty much locked up with a lot of very interesting characters that were there too. It's so interesting.
Was that 1 month helpful? I mean,
it was extremely helpful.
Yeah.
Right? Because I think I've come to terms that, I am who I am. Right? I think being gay, being bisexual, being a lesbian, transgender, whatever you identify. I'm so sorry, people out there, but whatever you identify as, you are who you are. It's not because of like influence because I saw a drag queen perform. No, it's because that's how I feel and that's how I identify as. And that's just who I am. And I was born this way. Things might end, things might continue, things whatever. But for me, I was thinking, how do we progress forward? How do we manage the situation the best way that we can? And how do we take responsibility? I made a commitment to take care of someone for the rest of my life. And I do love that person genuinely, and I still do. And that's why I'm still sticking to my marriage, right? Not just for my daughter, but it's a promise that I made.
Which is really powerful because the average relationship for queer people is not very long. So I think when we try to relate to you, I think we also got to understand that like when you're with someone for so many years, like relationships go through various seasons and periods as individually you go through your own seasons as well, right? Like I wouldn't want us to judge that.
Right.
Because I think that is the first instinct for anyone that's not you.
Yes.
Or your wife.
Yeah.
Which is to judge. What we do when we hear stories, we try to put it in a box, right? We try to think like, where do I compartmentalize Kitti's story? As you're telling this story of yours, like I was going through like so many different, like I was just trying to like put you in a place where I maybe know a bit more of, and your story is just your story. It's so different.
All right.
And I was like, do I judge? Do I not judge? Like, how do I feel? But it doesn't matter how I feel, actually.
Right. People will judge you for who you are or whatsoever. It's natural. You know what I mean? Do they have the right to? You could say, no, you don't. But then again, you can't help it. It's human nature. That's what we do.
It's true.
But I do want to say this is that you do need to realize that there is different types of relationships. There's different types of ways to love. You cannot put love in a box, right? You don't have to accept, but you have to understand that there's various forms of ways to love, right? And I might be out of the norm and the most unconventional thing that a lot of people have seen, but hey, we're living life and we are happy, right? And that's who we are. Before we stop into another topic, I guess, I do want to mention this because a lot of people have the tendency to think, oh my gosh, Kitti is so lucky. Like, he has everything set out for him and, whatsoever, and like has a family and is best friends with his wife. To get to where I am today with my family and my wife, that did not happen overnight.
Yeah.
That took years of repairing our relationship, right? That took can you imagine being with someone and then all of a sudden, hey, I'm gay, right? Hey, I'm gay, and I've been sleeping with men, and oh my gosh, and this is happening, and I don't know what to do with my life because I'm bipolar now and I want to commit suicide. My wife was left in the middle of that,
right,
with a 3-year-old daughter. People was like, Kitti, you've been through so much. And I'm just like, no. One person that deserves her flowers is my wife.
Yeah.
Right.
Sending our love to her.
Yes.
Yeah, to like Samjo's point about living your life, and like, oh, you're not hurting anyone, but like I think to the story you shared, like you acknowledge that while you were finding yourself,
yes,
and trying to find a way to live, you also acknowledge that yes, you did hurt people,
of course,
and it left a lot of, but at the same, I don't blame you for that as well, because you owe it to yourself. But then once you are with someone else, once you have a child, you also owe it to them. So hence there is this, how do you do both?
Correct.
How do you find both? And it's not easy. That's why I think your story is incredible, because it is also testament to who you are morally, I believe, where you're not just gonna fuck everyone else, I've discovered who I am, fuck off, and I'm gonna ride into the rainbow, where it's like, no, it's like, we're not gonna give up. You're as two people, you looked at each other and said, we're not gonna give up on our child.
No.
But at the same time, we want what's best for each other. How do we make this work? And I think there's a huge lesson there for everyone.
That's why we need conversations like that, and we need representation like that, because even for you and me, we are also coming to terms with a lot of things that I would say, even before we started the podcast, or maybe if we spoke to a younger version of ourselves, we would have gone, I wouldn't have imagined doing drag even, or sharing the space with a drag queen, because back then I had my own misconceptions about what it was like to be that, and I obviously at some point was in a lot of denial about my sexuality. So there was a lot of self-judgment also, and I think sometimes when we're judging other people, we're actually maybe seeing a lot of similarities in them. That's actually we're actually judging the same qualities in ourselves.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's actually quite liberating to have, sometimes you need someone else. I do believe that some people put in our lives or into our consciousness for a reason, so that we can start that thought process, and whatever it is.
Yeah.
Be it self-acceptance, or even just being at peace with something that is different and that is, foreign to you. But you can go look, we can coexist. I don't have to fully understand it, but I can respect that. And I think that's important.
Yeah.
Agree.
Even as queer people, right? Because it's Samjo just became more and more, it's like a flower, it's right? And then for me, it's as the podcast progresses, I'm actually more conservative than I thought I am, because we've interviewed different people from different walks of life, and we always try to do it as respectfully as we can.
Right.
But truthfully, I may not fully agree in a sense with with people's way of life or people's choices or whatever, or not even agree, but I've not found it in myself to understand. I'll give an example, open relationships. That's something that a part of me still doesn't agree with it. You know, I don't understand it. I know a lot of people that are in it and it's worked for them, and I don't tell them not to do what they're gonna live how way they live, but for myself, it's not for me, right? So I also go back and forth. As a gay man, I'm supposed to be super accepting of all relationships and all open relationships and everything, but then the truth is that actually I don't. And I also feel afraid sometimes to just say I'm a monogamous lover, I want to be with one person, and it's very traditional and very old school, but that's how I believe a gay person's life should be. But then again, I'm imposed, so I go back and forth with these things.
Of course. And there's nothing wrong with that. I believe in monogamy too. And you will be very surprised about that because believe it or not, me in this dating scene is the most confusing thing for a 40-year-old person to come in. But I'll just say this is that like, you know, I had to come in that because everybody was telling me, it was like, yeah, open relationships is the thing right now. Like, this is how it is now. And I was like, at first I was like, okay, this is the idea. But then later on, I realized that is not me.
Yeah.
That is not me. No one should say anything about it. If that's the way you want to have your relationship or whatsoever and what you believe and what your values are, it shouldn't like, you know, whatsoever. Like, and respectfully to anybody that's okay with open relationships, I think that's fine too. You know, do you whatsoever, be respectful.
Yeah. And I think, Josh, you can also be kinder on yourself. I know you're saying that you're calling yourself a conservative. Let me tell you, you are not. You are far from conservative.
I mean, I will out myself. Like, I watch a lot of Candace Owens and Ben Shapiro. And
yeah, the way you said it just now, when you started, I was like, have you gone full like far right on us? Like, is that why you're sitting on the right today? I was just, you are not. It's just that you are questioning these things because you are also trying to figure out what works for you.
Yeah.
And you know, I know you to be like one of the most you are romantic. You know, he is like that. I've said in so many of these conversations with him, like talking about love and musing about, you know, relationships and everything, and like, you know, love gained, love lost, and I can tell like it's you just want that yearning for that kind of for a particular ideal of a relationship, and I think that's okay and it's good, and you gotta, you know, because the rest of the world around you is obviously pivoting and like doing different things, and then you're wondering like, maybe I should try that, but you know that's not you. In fact, I'll say this again, like you actually know deep down, you have a lot of conviction as to what you want and what you don't want. More importantly, sometimes you know what you don't want.
yeah.
You will actually be very surprised of how many people share the same experiences that you might be going through right now too.
And there's one question I have in my mind, obviously, because, you know, speaking of wrapping your head around something and understanding something, and so what I want to know is, you know, we talked about your wife earlier, and of course you have a beautiful daughter,
yes,
you know, whom you love dearly. How do you explain a lot of what's going on in your life to her, or how much of it do you like, you know, keep from her in order to protect her? Because I know that there's also there's a duality there, right, for you.
And you know, she's 9 years old. She's becoming to, I'll tell you this, I have not explained and told literally yet that to my daughter yet that mommy and daddy are kind of, we're married, but we're kind of not together, right? And I haven't explained to her yet that daddy is gay, right? And the reason behind that is because we don't want to formulate an opinion on who I am exactly like that, like just force it down her throat yet. There's still a lot of understanding that needs to go through of what is going on. But I will tell you this, is that conversation seems like it's going to be coming sooner or later, right? And I don't know how she's going to take it. I think she's going to take it very well. She'll have a lot of questions. And I think the best thing that we are doing right now as parents, and my wife said, this is why I say my wife is incredible. She said, don't worry about a single thing. My daughter actually goes to a religious Christian school.
Oh.
Yes. And so you can only see how complicated that could even get even more for her. Her mother or my wife basically has already been seeding the idea. She's like, there are some people who actually like boys, are attracted to the boys, and some girls that like girls. And there's nothing wrong with that. And that's what she keeps telling my daughter. And I've actually had a conversation with my daughter. It's like, there are people that have this, that, they have a preference like this. And she's like, yeah, it's normal. She said, yeah, it's normal. And we had a picture one time that took, when I first came out and was in Singapore and was celebrating Pride Month, we held the rainbow flag together. And she didn't quite understand it. And so I felt like maybe I was forcing it down her throat a little bit too much. But one thing that she said that it was the most beautiful flag that she has ever seen in her life because it was a rainbow. So I think her heart is in the right place. her mother has been telling her that daddy has a different lifestyle. He works in Singapore and that's him. But the most important thing you need to know about daddy is that he's happy, right? And my wife has told me, and we as parents have lived by this, is that it doesn't matter what we do or what lifestyle we choose to live in. We have to live happily and be ourselves and be happy for what we are doing, as long as it doesn't hurt us as a family, my daughter or anyone else. The most important thing about raising a child is to make sure that the parents themselves are happy. And if they are happy, the child will see that everything is okay. And so that's why we've actually introduced the concept of doing drag to her since last year.
Right.
Right. And so my daughter has actually seen me dress up in drag. She just saw me dress up in drag this Saturday and this morning. Yeah. And she was like, what are you doing? And the first time she saw me do it, she was like, why do you have to be dressed up as a girl? And I was like, you know what daddy does is this is a fun thing for daddy. It's like a hobby. I like doing it. It's kind of like an art. Right? It's an art. And it's like I go on stage and people watch and it's like a performance, just like acting.
True.
Right. And actually, it is that.
It is. It's
it
theater.
Is that.
Yeah.
It is that. And she's like, oh. She was like, oh, okay. And next thing she did, innocently, she's like, can I choose your wig? It's like, okay. So and just like this, and this past weekend too, she was like, can I style this dress differently for you? And so she put it here and there and there. And it's like, so it was a whole thing. So she has grasped the idea of me being a drag queen. I think she knows. She hears the conversations between me and my wife. There's something a little bit different about our family than other families. As long as you are happy and we are happy, that's the most important thing in the world for us. We don't need to be validated by anybody else. And we'll just say this, is that, like, you know, if someone ever asks you, is like, isn't it weird? It's weird to you, but my parents are happy and I'm happily. I go to a great school. I get toys. I get whatsoever. I get to spend time with my mom and dad. And that's the most important thing, because what else are you going to ask more for? When I turned 40, I said I wanted to do something for myself. I threw a huge birthday party and whatsoever, and whatever happened, I decided to do drag, and it was a fun thing. I then got a brain tumor just last year, and it was a very serious one. It wasn't cancerous, but I had to get operated within 48 hours. After that, I woke up, and it was a big wake-up call for my life, and saying that, what are the things that you wanted to do with your life, that you wanted to make a difference? DJing, music, and drag were the three things that I wanted to incorporate. And all of those three things relate to music, right? And I would say that's the foundation of where I think my drag is, because I have a lot of stories and I have a lot of trauma, and so does everybody else. But that's where I get my drag and my performances from. That's where the music comes into play, like Whitney.
One reason why I feel like we all get along, and I know that y'all will get along swimmingly even after this podcast is over, is that we have a lot of, maybe because we are like, similar vintage, but we have very similar taste in music and appreciation for even people who may not be trending on TikTok right now, anything. We respect the OGs, and I think that, like you, and that's why I enjoy your drag a lot. So much of what you do is like, a tribute to the people who have helped you in your healing,
yes,
in how far you've come in accepting yourself.
Yes.
I feel like sometimes that's what I do also, and like, and that's the power of, like you said, like music and everything. Like, Kitti has done some really amazing performances, like, there was a Britney medley that you did, obviously Whitney, who else have you done? Like Christina, all our favorite pop girlies.
Yes.
And it's just like so reminiscent of that time. And it's one thing, it's like impersonation, but it's more than that.
Yes.
It's going like, look, like, you helped me, and like you helped so many other, gay boys like me.
Yeah.
Like, you know, this is my small little gay way of thanking you.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think that's why we love our pop divas so much, you know, because they helped us in the darkest of times.
It did.
Yeah.
The reason why I did Whitney, it's not right, but it's okay. The first drag queen I ever saw in my life was at the age of about 14. And I was just walking across a shopping mall in Bangkok, and I saw this drag queen performing on stage. It's not right, but it's okay for Whitney Houston at that time. And that's when the song was just released. And I just remember I was so mesmerized by it. But I was like, oh my gosh, she looks just like Whitney, and the mannerisms and everything. And so whenever you see me, and that's the reason why when I did my birthday drag performance, the first song I opened for was that song. And that was actually a tribute to that drag queen.
Whoever she is.
She is, whoever she, I
Yeah.
know. I was like, I don't know who she is.
Probably Kak Nina Boo.
I know.
Back to your daughter about, you know, I feel like as and when she's ready and you're ready for her to watch your show, like it's gonna be beautiful. And I'm excited for you, Kitti.
Yay.
And I'm so excited to see how much further you go in this, you know,
I have sweaty palms.
beautiful journey of yours. So
Yeah.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I was actually nervous throughout the whole episode. I was like, you can see.
Why
my
were you
palms are like-
nervous?
I get really immersed in people's stories,
Right.
And I try to like picture it in my mind, so like I can
Right.
see your daughter, even though I've never met your daughter. I can see your wife. I
Right.
can see like arguments you've had. I've seen like
Yes.
you know. So like I'm very sort of that person. I'm Gemini, so you understand.
Yes, I
we
do.
understand. So like I get really. It feels like I just watched like a whole movie today. Like this will make a great film. Your life. You should sell your rights.
But
the
also-
rights, not your rights.
And also autobiography, really.
Yeah.
I do think that you have a lot of material for a book.
Yeah.
Like,
And you can do it in Thai and English. So you get two
Exactly.
marks. Yeah.
You know, funny enough, my wife and I have talked about it. We were like, we need to write a book, but the first book would be my story, and then a year down later, it'll be her perspective.
response. Oh, that's great.
You and your wife in the same book, but like back to front. So like
Exactly.
first half is your, and then but you can read it whichever way you want, like from back to
Exactly.
front. That would be a really. Let me connect you with a publisher.
There we go.
We'll-
yeah.
So exciting, right?
Yeah,
We
because
did-
we've been doing a lot of author stuff on my show, and we've been we got a Thai author recently,
Ooh.
and it was really easy for Thailand to get like TV show rights and everything.
Yes,
because
yes.
they're really, that's how you really blow like a lot of these stories up.
Yes.
We can discuss.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you can come here in the studio and record your audiobook
Oh
as
my
well.
Can you
God.
cast us?
Yeah.
So wanna
We can
do
be
a
voice
cameo.
actors.
Oh
Oh
my
my
gosh.
god. Yeah.
We'll do the audiobook.
Yes.
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 So exciting.
I'm Joshua Simon,
I'm Sam Joe.
and we are the SG Boys.
That little gay podcast from Singapore.
Subscribe and find us on Instagram at the SG Boys.